Marshall, what is magnetic center in the Gurdjieff system?
Well, in Ospensky, in a page number I don't have in front of me, Ospensky mentions magnetic center, but he gives a certain definition to it. I'm not going to go into that. You can look it up in Search of the Miraculous or Fragments of an Unknown Teaching by Ospensky, which is an interesting book. But Mr. Nyland, my teacher, actually uncovered a real understanding of magnetic center. Excuse me. What he says is that when my parents, my mother and my father, came together and the two cells were joined to create me as an entity on this earth, life was put into a form. At that very moment, life was put into a form, pure life, life as it is in totality of everything existing, and the understanding of being and consciousness was put into me. And it eventually over time, it it became buried. Gurdjieff talks about it in All and Everything in terms of the sinking of Atlantis. But anyway, what is magnetic center? Magnetic center, as I said, his endlessness put into us as a source of what might be called a divine impulse. This is life itself that is now within me. But as a child, when we look at children, we can almost see it, the purity of that quality that they have. We can almost see and sense there's something in us that's attracted to the purity of a child, and something in us recognizes that child's magnetic center. We don't really understand it. So the question becomes, how do what is magnetic center for me? What in truth is magnetic center? Where does magnetic center comes into my life as an adult, as a growing person? Um, Magnetic center is that part of myself that for some of us we heard in different ways. Maybe we loved fairy tales. We loved stories of wise men. We love stories of the mythology but so there's an external condition of understanding magnetic center. But ultimately, what Gurdjieff and Mr. Nyland teach is that the magnetic center is the source of my further development. And when I work to wake up, to begin to see myself as I am, to accept the truth of what I am, to know how I am and what I am in life, I begin, it's magnetic center that is showing this to me. Magnetic center represents the law of three within me, which again is another aspect of Gurdjieff's teaching. You can see the law of three in the Enneagram in terms of the triangle within us. It represents the active, passive, and neutralizing force. It's the force of life itself. It's life. It's the essential quality of life and creation. It's the laws of world creation and activity, and that's within me. And it contains within it, as I said earlier, contains the sacred data that is necessary for the development of my inner life and to actually begin to give me the truth of what I am. It contains within it the emotional quality, really, the deep emotional quality of a connection, the possible connection to a higher world. When it's not unavailable to any one of us, independent of Mr. Gurdjieff. I'm sure we've been touched by it. It's inescapable in some cases. In some cases, we're fortunate if it hasn't been covered over totally. But the conditions of this earth actually cover over our magnetic center and pushes it further and further and deeper within ourselves. The quality of magnetic center is such that it cannot be contaminated by life on earth, but it can be lost or be covered. And in a way, part of this process of waking up is getting in touch with and having a relationship with that. You could say it's God within us. It's the potential of the development of what Gurdjieff calls our inner God. And of course, that's related to the Gurdjieff's connection to the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. But the point is that it gives the responsibility of my life to me. I have to take responsibility for my life, and that's magnetic center. It was given to me. It's interesting. I had an insight one time that because God, or his endlessness, or however you would like to say it, put into me this wish, this understanding, I began to understand that I am responsible for that. I have to take care of that. I have to work for that. I have to feed it. I have to develop it. I have to give it strength, the strength of my wish. I have to come to it, and I have to work to hear it, and I have to work to be in touch with it definitely as something solid within myself, because it contains my potential of growing towards the development of an emotional body and a soul body.